I'm
Oh,
just kidding.
touche.
I'm kidding. Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon. Welcome to the monthly Texas Leadership Network Mastermind. We do this on the second Thursday of every month from 12 to 1 Central Time. It is about brilliant minds coming together to have a conversation about a particular topic every month. So we'd love for you all to join us every month when we have these. So it really is about facilitating a conversation. It's about all of us helping each other. You will find that there are a handful of coaches on, as well as business owners and leaders from all over the globe. We've had some international folks join us as well, really brainstorming some ways that we can help each other. Today, we're going to talk about creative procrastination, which is a great topic. I look forward to hearing more on that from Miguel before we start our conversation. It's also about helping each other stay accountable to the goals that we have. So if you have something that you really want to go after or attain, or a goal that you have, ask somebody here to be your accountability buddy, right? We'll help you get there. There are no dumb questions. Everyone is asked to participate. The more you participate, the more you're going to get out of it. And ask questions. It could be from the person presenting the topic, or it could be from other people in the group. We're really here to share skills, boost accountability, and also network a little bit. And it is brought to you by this amazing group of coaches. We have a couple of new ones. Their faces will show up here next month. And I would love to do a quick around the world with everyone, just to do an introduction, since we've got some new faces on the phone. And I would love for you to share your contact information in the chat window as well, so that we can get to know you. Kristen, you are in the top of my Hollywood squares. Would you please introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Kristen Day, owner of A Visual Business. So I help small business owners with their online marketing needs, with website development, search engine optimization, paid ads on Google, as well as my night and weekend job, which is firearms training for specifically women, and huge excitement. I just took a course on mass shooter events, so now I can teach that, and I'm super excited about that because I think the world needs to know. So nice to meet you all. I'll put my information in the thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Kristen. I appreciate that. Miguel, would you do a quick intro for yourself, please?
I didn't hear that. What was?
Will you introduce yourself? Go ahead.
Oh, yes. This is Miguel Marquez. I'm not the newest now anymore, but I came out last year with Focal Point. Very happy. I have extensive experience in healthcare, nonprofits, organizations, and finance and strategic planning. And this is something I really love sharing with people, making business owners successful. If you enjoy it, I don't consider it work, but it's great. It's great to be here.
Excellent. Thank you, Miguel. I did not introduce myself. For those of you who don't know me, there's a couple of non-familiar faces. Trisha Stetzel, the other half of Team Stetzel. We do run our coaching practice together. We're in the lovely state of Texas, down by the Gulf Coast in Sargent. Camila, would you please introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Camila. I am a sociologist and Spanish teacher. I knew about the meetings by a student that she told me, and I live in Argentina, Buenos Aires.
Wonderful. Thank you for being with us today. Troy, would you introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. Appreciate having each and every one of you here. My name is Troy Weber. I'm the president of Weber Advisors, Inc. I work with business owners and executives, and I'm based north of Dallas. Welcome.
Thank you, Troy. Karen, would you introduce yourself? Not today. All right, got it, girl. You want to put your contact information in the chat window? That'd be great. All right, Tanya, how about you?
So I am CEO and founder of the Phoenix series. My job is to create motivational events for small businesses. The events are led by business owners, and they are basically talking about how they failed and how they came back up, and what motivated them. And that's to motivate the audience of aspiring entrepreneurs, small business owners that are struggling. I provide sponsors to also help them through their journey, such as accountants and insurance and all those good things. And so I'm based in Houston.
Wonderful. Thank you for being here today, Tanya. Mr. Bolton.
Yes, Tricia, I'm Bill Bolton. I'm a business coach and I reside in the Plano suburb of Dallas. My experience is in president of a couple businesses over the last 25 years in water treatment services, specialty lighting, and medical devices, and work with small business clients, helping them improve their business and realize their business goals.
Awesome. Thank you,
Thanks
Bill.
for being here.
David, welcome. Would you please introduce yourself, sir?
Hi, I'm Dave Denbor. I'm here in Houston, Texas. I've done cybersecurity for about 25 years, and I also do a lot of veteran leadership and service club work.
Fantastic. Thank you, David, for being here. Andrew, would you introduce yourself, sir?
Hi, everybody. I'm Andrew Royal. I am a little bit north of Bill and not quite as far north as Troy. Also a business coach in the Texas, North Texas area. And I focus on creating joy. So I work with business owners who are a little frustrated and especially work on team issues, profitability issues, and strategy concerns. So I'm excited to be a part of this team. Let's create more joy together.
Thank you, Andrew. Excellent. Mr. Alt, how you doing?
I'm good, Tricia. How are you?
Good.
So Greg
Great.
Alt, owner and founder of Paramount Services. We are a fractional CFO and accounting firm that does not do taxes. I help business owners get and understand their financial state of their business.
Awesome. Thank you for being here today. Philip, would you introduce yourself, sir?
Yes, Philip Jordan. I'm a business coach located in the Houston area. I spent my career in the healthcare industry with all facets of it: finance, operations, information technology, project management, and such. I'm looking forward to helping business owners address some of the issues they have with team building and getting the right people in place so they can improve their performance, which leads to greater profitability.
Awesome. Thank you, Philip. Dennis, I know you've got some connectivity issues. You just want to wave or you want to introduce yourself?
I'll give it a shot.
Okay, go ahead.
Dennis, I'm part of the Focal Point Network. I'm having challenges with my network today because I happen to be on a client site. And for this particular client, we're working on executive development and workforce transformation out of Princeton, New Jersey. But when I'm not traveling and sitting at a client site, I am in Sargent, Texas, a little tiny fishing town where we live the good life.
Live the good life. All right. So Miguel will be delivering our topic to talk about today. So Miguel, if you want to go ahead and take over control of the slides. We're really happy to have Miguel as part of our Texas team. He's all the way out in El Paso. And as he mentioned, he works with some nonprofit businesses, and that's the space that he comes from. So today we're going to lead into a hot topic around time management. Go ahead, Miguel, it's all yours.
Thank you, Kristen. Let me go ahead and share the screen. There we go. Everybody can see the screen?
Yes, looks good.
Okay. Welcome everybody one more time. And it's great to hear from everybody who's here having fun. And I know it's getting hot in a lot of cities from what I hear from everybody. Yesterday we have 105 here in El Paso and one of those surprise dust storms. So it got pretty interesting day yesterday, but we move along. That's important. So one of the things that you guys as business owners and as business owners or managers or executives, we don't have a lot of time. We have to delegate, do a lot of different things at the same time. But one of the things that's coming up in procrastination is people think it's about work, but practicing creative procrastination is being proven to be effective based on the Eat That Frog book from Brian Tracy. And by the way, we can provide a free copy of that book if anybody wants it. So that's very important. We're going to talk about creative procrastination and the details and how to help you be more productive and accomplish some of those tasks at hand that are more important than others, especially, we have big projects. Your most important tasks of the day. That's some of the things that we talk about it. Think about this frog. People don't like frogs. Oh, they're ugly, or there's smaller ones, there's cuter ones, there's different colors, there's all type of frogs. But a frog is a frog, and I personally don't like frogs, like snakes. But as we have a responsibility to our employees and to our clients, we had to proceed and do what they want or what they need. So procrastinate on the low value activities and do the most difficult at first. For example, if you have a big project, something you had to do with your client, and it's a big project, you have to focus on hand in that task and get it done, and move the small time consuming for later and procrastinate on those ones. That's how it's going to work. Like Brad Tracy says, if you have to eat 2 frogs, eat the ugliest one first, and that's going to give you better understanding of that task, get it done, get it out of the way. So that's important. And, as business owners and executives, you don't want to, and this is always gets me, what's one of the tasks I see a lot, especially people with employees that they don't want to do? Employee evaluations. That's something that postpone, especially with difficult employees. Those have to be done right away. You want to improve performance, communication, all those areas for productivity that can impact your work or your workplace or your employees. So that's important to tackle those tasks. Creative procrastination is one of the effective ways to get things done fast and all personal performance techniques. We all have techniques. How you can share those. We use technology, we use our phone to do lists on paper. We have different techniques that we can do, but you have to procrastinate in something. You have to do presentations, you have to do marketing, you have to talk to employees, to clients. You cannot do everything at once. And some of those things are different areas that we can help. And Focal Point, we have a very good time management presentation that we can provide. Some of those are like 2 or 3 days. But procrastination on the smaller tasks, it can be productive because those smaller tasks, you put for the side. They're not priority. They don't have big deadlines, and they take more time. So you move it for later on the week, on the day. Depends on the priority. But like I said, it's just focus on those big tasks. Eat the biggest frog, ugliest frog first, and you'll feel better after it. The difference too in priorities and posteriorities. In priorities, you have important items, deadlines that you have to produce or get done right away. So posteriorities as well. The time consuming, they're not a big deal that you have to do. Reports for later, follow up with somebody that is waiting for some information, but there's not that important. You have to focus on those areas. Priority has to be done sooner, and posteriority is done less, but it's later. That's the important thing. One of the things I see a lot in procrastination, and I used to be guilty of that a few years ago, unconsciously, I personally, I have a big project and I start thinking to Maria Bash, worry about it. I want to make it perfect. I start researching, getting too much information. But what happened? I keep postponing it and not get it done, which unconsciously I'm procrastinating it, not to do it, because I'm thinking I have to go perfection. Focus and consistency and not imperfection. If you become more consistent with your practice and getting those tasks sooner, you're going to become more productive with your time. And those are the bigger tasks first. Focus on the moment. Don't worry before the wheels are moving. No, don't worry, don't worry before you place the bet. You worry don't worry. You have to focus on the task. That's something very important. And that's the way that we do it. They procrastinate on big, valuable, important tasks. like I said, because we worry too much and we keep moving it unconsciously because I want it to be perfect. Don't worry about that. And now that we know those areas, it's important to focus and organizing the time to focus those tasks on hand. And if we know those tasks are important, they're going to dedicate the time. And one thing I want to say, people use multitasking. Forget about that. That doesn't work. And in my opinion, multitasking, your attention is all over the place. You don't finish one task, go to a different one. You can deal with different clients, different priorities, but if you have one project on hand, and one of my fellow focal point mentioned project management, in a project like a task, you have a time deadline and amount of time to put on it because your time is money. And in project management, you make sure the stakeholders and your project is on budget. So sometimes you have to watch your time because it's at the end of the day, your time is your money, and you have to account for that. Each functional and all the activities that we do, we have technology, which is productive, but at the same time, technology can take your attention away. We have LinkedIn, we have so many activities. So it's important to focus on that task that you need to achieve. And it's just focus on that. Don't worry about the future or the past, just focus on that task to get it done and accomplish it. One of the things I see, and I had small business owners, they're great at what they do, but they're not a good administrators. Sometimes outsourcing, having somebody help them, but just getting organized is a key important thing. Even myself, sometimes I do put the task of not filing papers, which is not good, because sometimes I put all the one on top and it get lost. So being organized yourself on the desk or your home or your office is going to help you a lot. So that's very important. You have to evaluate yourself. Like in my opinion, like I said, I worry too much. They're going to do a project and some of those areas that is not going to be perfect. So I overthink it. So I have to take that on hand and just get it done and get it done on time. Don't make excuses. Oh, I had to go do this first. Like if I had to do this task, but I put another one in front saying, oh, this is going to be important when it's not. You always find excuses. We always do that. So we have to put that on the side too. 3 things that we can do as well, like I mentioned, clear your desk, organize, prepare in advance, get everything ready, focus and distractions out of the way, and handle paper and emails only once. We go back, email is a big distraction in productivity. I try not to open my emails only once or twice a day, morning, mid-afternoon, or afternoon. You get a ton of emails, people selling products, but you have to focus in those areas that you need to accomplish for the day. And you know that you have your agenda, your calendars, you guys know that productivity, but it's going to be the time you're going to decide to procrastinate some of the small tasks. Like I said, procrastination is not about work because you're going to practice creative procrastination that focus on the bigger tasks first. That's all I have. Can anybody share any examples how you guys do creative procrastinations, or what do you find important? Anybody?
So Miguel, to your last point, this is unconscious procrastination. To your last point about email, until I read this a few months back about only touch that email one time, right? I would look at it and think about replying, but it would take too much time. And then it sat in my inbox, and then my inbox grew to like 5,000. It's terrible. And having to catch up, right? So being intentional about opening an email and either filing or responding made a huge difference in the amount of time I was spending in my email.
Yeah, that's true. And personally, one of the things I do, like if I take the time in the afternoon, sometimes if I'm working late, I don't like to send emails late to clients or some. So what I do, I set out the email prepared, and I set the email to be sent the next morning at 8 a.m. when it's working time. I'm very conscientious of everybody's time. I don't like to send emails late or too early. So I prepare a nice scheduled email to be sent the next day. So that helps me in the morning. I don't have to be sending emails. But you can find productivity here and there. But if it's a big email that I had to really respond for a quote, something that requires immediate response, I will do it. I have other 3 emails, follow up task and do it later on the week. It's prioritizing, especially you have to accomplish what you need to do for the day. Like I said, our time is very important.
So for me, it's top of mind just because of where I am and what I'm doing. So I'm here doing workforce development and executive training, and very timely, because if you look up procrastination, it says the action of delaying or postponing something, right? And it has a negative connotation. So some of the similar dithering, stalling, hesitation. So it takes on a negative connotation. But when it comes to like workforce development and leadership and management, just not answering your phone is action, and that conscious procrastination is a way to help develop the workforce. You'd be amazed how many times, the leader, the executive, the owner, just simply not answering that phone, not forever. I said, I'm going to give this person who's calling 10 minutes, 15 minutes to come up with their own solution. Because if you pick up the phone right away, then you've now just accepted that monkey, or you've accepted the delivery of a problem. And a lot of times, especially in an immature workforce, or one that's not had to, self-maintain or self-manage, the crutch is the leader. 2 deep breaths and call Troy. 2 deep breaths, and maybe it's not even your workforce. Maybe it's your customers, like Kristen. 1 deep breath, call Kristen. Something's not working, and so Kristen answers the phone, and she now has taken. And I'm picking on Kristen because Keels and Wheels does it to her all the time. But, picks up the phone, and now that's your problem, when maybe 10 minutes, just 10 minutes for them to think through that problem and intentionally procrastinating, and again, the definition, intentionally, delaying or postponing that conversation, to give them an opportunity to think through it and maybe come up with their own solution. So by the time you call them back, it may not be, hey, here's a problem, come take it from me. Maybe it's here's what I did, or here's what I think I'm going to do. Are you okay with that? Or was this, so it becomes more of a guiding conversation as opposed to just taking on a problem.
That's true. And one of the key things is you have to form the habit of responding to the present moment and the moment you are and what you're doing. And that's the perfect example, because I've been in board meetings with the CEO of the bank and everybody, and then somebody gets a phone call and everything goes out of the window, the thread, just the distraction itself. Anybody want to share it?
Dennis, one of the things that I thought of when you were telling that story, and it kind of depends, this might be cultural, depends on the organization's culture and expectations, but one of the quotes that I read recently that was resonating with me as you were sharing that example was, some people believe that confidence is required before taking action, and other people recognize that confidence is a result of taking action and learning from that. And so, when you've got maybe immature or team members or even ourselves, when we're thinking about a challenge and it leads into that procrastination, I can't take action on that because I'm not 100% confident of all the potential things. But yet, once we take action, we learn from that, and it gives us confidence. So maybe that applies in this conversation as well.
That's true.
Yeah. And there's a couple of suggestions in the chat window. Karen said that she uses the scheduling emails for a later date so that you can get through your emails. And Kristen said she's got her phone set up so that it doesn't fetch emails every 15 minutes, right? So you're not just looking at your phone. And then even muting group messenger messages. There's so many apps out there, holy cow, for group messaging. If you're looking at that, that's absolutely distracting. I read a study one time that said every time you look away from what you're doing to look at your phone, it takes your brain 17 minutes to actually get back to the processing that it was doing before you looked away to check your phone. So if you take that 17 minutes times however many times you're looking at your phone, we definitely live in a distracted world.
That's true. And, I have some clients that are on the creative side versus the administrative, and they do procrastinate in some specific task because they take the time to do something different. And when they go back to that task, they're more clear their heads and they finish that task, but they kind of clear their minds a little bit. So sometimes procrastinating to take time to clear your head and to prepare is better as well, not used to go into it. And that's true, sometimes you had used to take action, just to move on. And, it's just to get it done regardless of the confidence, like it was said, confidence comes later or before, but just act on it, that's important. And delivering that as well. That's all I have. And one of the things I wanted to mention, as part of the Texas leadership team, we will have a complimentary webinar. I believe it's on the 15th. Where is it?
So if you want, Miguel, I've got a QR code that I can flash up on the screen for people to register, and I can also put it in the chat window. Yeah, so we can keep the conversation going, and I can flash that up if people want to do the follow on. Yeah. Yeah, and more on that.
That's something why to increase productivity. So I saw some of the webinars, some of the YouTube videos. It's amazing how small changes on our day-to-day activities, but be conscious presently and doing the small changes, incremental changes, can help us become more productive, accomplish tasks sooner, and not to be stressed out, leaving a lot of things at the end. I knew somebody who procrastinated on purpose for everything, and they did it for that rush, that rush to feel like everything at the end. They were very smart, but sometimes things follow through the cracks. Presentation wasn't good, the work wasn't. So there's different ways people do it, but creative procrastination has been proven to help focus on the bigger task and delegate the smaller ones for later. You have to find that sweet spot that you can, do it automatically without thinking too much. This is what I need to do today. This is what I'm moving later. Use your email. You can use your tools, schedule it, and then you can make some chunks of time for the bigger task, and then just put a smaller times for the other ones some more time. But we have a lot of tools, like you said, but it's to use them on our advantage, not against us. And like that thing is just, that's true. You focus in a meeting, you get a message, and it takes time to go back to the track. It's important.
And we haven't addressed the elephant in the room or the frog in the room. Does anybody eat frogs regularly? Anyone? Greg, you do. Tell us how you do it.
So we're at and I'll use, it's a perfect example and very timely of today, but I have a client, we're going through a conversion and new software. And so I had the task of this week to create a new chart of accounts and kind of lay things out a little bit differently. And it was a lot of thinking time, focused and everything. So I started it first thing this morning. I blocked everything, closed my email, and just focused on it for 3 hours so that I could get it all done, test the import and import it and get it done. But I blocked that time to do those harder tasks, a couple hours in the morning, don't check email yet or anything, come in, get it done, and then worry about emails and everything else.
That's awesome.
I have
Kristen, oh yeah, go ahead, Tanya.
So I have I have a smidge of ADHD tendencies. So I'm like squirrel a lot. And so in order for me to, procrastination is me trying to prioritize things and what comes first. And when I have three that have the same priority, I have to implement something that I learned called intentional thinking. And so I take that one topic and I spend 30-minute block on it, just doing whatever I need to do on that. And then if I feel, I'll take a 5-minute break. And if I feel like I can do another 30 minutes, I'll do that. Because then I don't have to reel myself back in from thinking about, I will think about dinner and I'll think about, cleaning this and that. And so if I give myself that task to intentional think for that amount of time, then it's a lot more productive for me and I get things done quicker and faster. And there's more, like you said, multitasking is there's always something that slips through the cracks when you multitask. And so that's kind of what I do whenever I'm trying to focus.
Thank you for sharing. That's awesome. Kristen, I know you must have eat that frog time all the time.
I'm like Tanya, I'm like a squirrel. And then, my husband's home. And so he's interrupting me. And I had to have that conversation. I'm like, look, I know you're here, but I'm working. And he's like, but I'm important. Absolutely. But I can't focus when you contact me every 5 minutes or something. But yeah, I get squirrel like bad. I struggle with it because there's so many different things that I do. And I need the emails because I need answers from clients to be able to finish certain projects. And it's a struggle. And I'm like Tanya too. I'm like high energy and I'm just like, oh, I want to do it all. And no, I don't. So, but website development, same thing. It's like, you can't work on something for 10 minutes. You've got to have that chunk. So I kind of like what Greg was saying, you kind of got to chunk up that time when you can focus on it. And I'll have to remind myself, I'm like, is this the most important thing that I need to be doing right now? Facebook. Nope. Move it, close those windows. So anyways.
Thank you for sharing. And go ahead.
That's very true because I'm working sometimes late and my wife gets home and something she gets upset with me because I'm busy and she says you should not procrastinate feeding the dogs. So the dogs are like they're just looking at me. They don't get that late, but it's like I'm busy. I need to finish this, but she says you need to feed him right on time. It's like, but they can wait a little bit.
So Cortland, you have a giant team, and I assume you get pulled in multiple directions, and people need your time. How do you manage that?
I don't understand y'all. I mean, you're not getting enough emails a day. I mean, if you don't get at least 3,500 emails a day, you ain't doing nothing. And the constant phone calls and the interruptions. I don't understand what the problem is here. Don't y'all work 24/7?
Oh, it's tough. It's hard having a big team.
It is. And, even especially when, we're coming out of COVID and we're still behind and you can't find additional employees as quickly as you did in the past because nobody wants to return to work and trying to quote unquote procrastinate work is nearly impossible because the clients are going, where's my results? I know that these results take 4 weeks. It's now 6 weeks. Why are you taking another 2 weeks? And I'm going back to the team going, why are we taking another 2 weeks?
Yeah.
So
it is.
It is fun. And like I say, I have a report that I got to get out to a client today for FDA. And it's like, okay, all right, I'm doing the things that I need to do in order to think about the response because of the fact that it's an important response. But I don't understand the rest of y'all not, having a personal life. I'm struggling with that. I'm not understanding how you can limit yourself to having a home life, and dogs and children and wives and or husbands, and those kinds of things. I mean, importance for them. I mean, they got to live with you.
Yeah, find some balance, right? The balance is all one way for you, right?
What balance?
Is any exactly? It's like a teeter totter on one end, right? Yeah. Well, and somehow we have to figure out where we're spending our time, right? And grab a hold of it and become the owner of our own time and not let everyone steal it from us, because that's what happens, you know. And sometimes we're allowing it to happen through social media or the things that we stare about on our phones, right? Who does anybody do calendar blocking? Like Greg, you said you blocked the whole 3 hours out so that you could eat that frog this morning.
Yeah, I block out at the beginning of the week. I look at what tasks I have to complete, and I'll block out the calendar from networking one-to-ones, client meetings, sales calls. I've got several different calendar links that I use that have blocks of time that I will allocate for that. But other than that, I block a lot of time, especially at the end of the month and beginning of the month.
I saw a couple other hands, time blocking.
Does it count when you have a workout in the morning and you have a lunch schedule? Does that count as time blocking? That
Yes.
everything has to fill in around it?
Absolutely, Kristen. If you need to put lunch on your calendar, do it. Right.
There is guaranteed this girl's gonna eat. I'm just saying. But then I also work out.
Well, that's a great start too. If that's all you can do is block out the lunch, then you figure out, you know what, nothing happened over lunch. Like nothing that I can't resolve happened in that 1 hour that I took for myself, or even the 30 minutes that I took for myself. I took those 30 minutes, I decompressed, I sat down, I let my digestion, I used my fork, not my hands. Actually, cooked something instead of gray. Like all of those, I see people laughing and leaning in, right? We're all familiar with that. But then you come back and you have a clearer head. And anything that came in over that last 30 minutes to an hour, it wasn't a catastrophic failure. It's something that you can recover from. And so if that's the first step, and take that first step and at least block out lunch, or at least block out time for a workout or something, right? Just as a start, you don't have to complete an entire hotel room full of bookings and block out your entire week, but maybe it starts with the lunch. Maybe it starts with just giving yourself back that time to decompress with nothing in front of you. Take the phone, put it over here, have your lunch, and just let those thoughts flow. And hopefully it's something besides what you're missing on the phone that's sitting 3 feet from you.
That's very true. And one of the things I have seen too in some research, and I have a client who does this, hopefully does design jewelry. You take time to percolate and a different distraction. When you come back, that creates innovation. You can with something new because you change your mindset, but you take time to percolate, to distract your mind. And when you come back to that subject or something, that creates innovation. And that's how a lot of people create innovation, by going and then coming back to the subject later. Distraction, take time for yourself.
I'll offer something. I've had some coaching a few months ago by somebody on the call here that endorsed blocking time and using that block time, Tricia. And I found it helpful. And I'd used it for a while, and then I'd get lax about doing that. And then I'd look back and reflect and realize I didn't get the things done I wanted to get done this past week. And so that kind of re-energized me to go and block time more regularly again. And unfortunately, I go through that, seems like every couple of months, I'll kind of not be blocking enough time. I'll realize I'm not as efficient as I could be and not getting important things done. I'll go back to blocking time again. And I do find it's very helpful if I take Sunday nights or first thing Monday morning before the chaos starts, just to step back for an hour or two and think about what are the really important things for the coming week that really have to find time, and try to block time during the coming week to make sure I pay attention to that. And I find that very helpful, just to step back once a week. What's really important for the coming week or so? Make sure I block some time to do that, because otherwise suddenly the week can go by and didn't put enough time into it, and it's not satisfying. I just didn't commit the time to do it right, because those were the important things I had already decided. So I endorse that blocking time. I do find that very helpful. Thank you, Tricia.
You bet, Bill. Well, and I would ask all of you, who's the most important person in your life? Who is it? Think about them. Kristen, good for you. What your spouse, your kiddos, whoever that most important person is. And you think about them, and they came to you and they said, I want you to spend an hour a day with me between the hours of 1 and 2 o'clock for the next 3 weeks. Could you do it? Would you do it? Would you make time for that most important person in your life? Treat yourself that way. Treat your business that way. Treat your priorities that way, and block the time. And block it on a regular basis. So Bill, I hear you saying you've had to, go back and revisit that. Put it on your calendar as reoccurring. I'll bet Greg and Kristen, you guys have your lunch on there reoccurring, or break time, right? Whatever that looks like. I have a reoccurring 4-hour block. I know, Cortland, don't fall over. A reoccurring 4-hour block on Monday afternoons, or excuse me, Monday mornings, that are called office hours. Do I schedule meetings in that space sometimes? Occasionally, if it takes priority over my office hours. Put it on your calendar. Anybody else have tips or tricks on creative procrastination? Troy?
Yeah, I've got one that, and I think it was Kristen that said, I've got 2 ADHD clients, big time, squirrels everywhere, so I've had to rein them in a little bit. And I'm convicted every time I'm teaching, because I'm thinking, what am I doing? Am I doing that same thing? And so I've learned to practice what I preach. And part of that is a simple thing of, and a lot of you talked about it, but making a list of all your priorities and then prioritizing them, right? A, B, C, D, E. We remember Stephen Covey. And by the way, C's, why are you doing them? D's need to be, delegated, and E needs to be eliminated. Why are they even on your list, right? So now you're focused on the A's and B's. But the key is doing it the night before. And when you put that down and prioritize, then to Greg's point, when you look at those A's that have to be done, and by the way, you can't do 10 of them. You need 2 or 3 max, hopefully 1 or 2, And I've learned that when I do that, I'm so focused, because by the end of the day, man, my juices have been flowing all day long. I'm running 100 miles an hour. Everything is clear. The next morning, I got to have a little coffee. I got to get things going. And before I get up to speed and running, I'm already getting just bombarded by all these different distractions. But if I look at the list that I created the night before and focus on the A's, shut everything else out, I can get it done. And I've done that with a couple of my ADHD clients, and they're like, Troy, I know that, but I've never implemented it, and you hold me accountable. And now they're executing things, getting it knocked out, the important stuff. And so they're creatively procrastinating, Miguel, to your point, the night before, when everything is in full clarity of what needs to be done the following day. So again, something simple we all know, but try it for 21 days. It's powerful.
Anybody else has anything? And like you said, it's consistency. Focus on being consistent versus quality and other things. Being consistent is very important. I just put something in the chat. I use for projects monday.com and the smart sheets for some of the projects to be on time, especially with some of the projects, to make my clients or somebody accountable. They don't like it because I can see if they did the task or not. So Mondays is pretty good for me to use to make people accountable sometimes and being productive.
You can't do 21 days, Kristen? Come on. So what about, somebody had mentioned a book in the last call that I was in, Atomic Habits. Who's read that? If you haven't, you should pick it up. Great book. And it really is about doing small changes. It's not about changing the whole way that you do things, right? Start adopting one small thing that will help you get your time back. Whatever, if you want to start calendar blocking a 2-hour block on Mondays for think time, or you put lunch on your calendar because you haven't had lunch 5 days in a row since you can remember. Just doing one small thing at a time, and it's called Atomic Habits. It's a great book. Does anybody have any other resources or books they would like to recommend on time management or specifically procrastination?
I was going to say the one that I had mentioned was the old one, but it's still very relative today, and that is Stephen Covey's Highly Effective People. Been around a long time, but it's still good stuff. I don't know about you, but I have to reread some of these, make sure I get it.
Absolutely. And I know Miguel we've got a Eat That Frog ebook in our community that we're happy to pass along to you guys. So if anybody wants to read more about how to get the biggest, nastiest, worst thing on your plate done first thing in the morning so you can concentrate on all of the other things that are pulling your time, we're happy to share that book with you. Anybody else have a favorite go-to?
I want to hear Cortland's favorite.
Somebody asked him if he even has time to read.
Audio books, Cortland. That's what I do at the gym, man. Oh, I'm at the gym. I'm sorry. You're still in the office.
Exactly.
I'm a big fan of Dr. Seuss.
Green eggs and ham. One thing, two things. All right.
Was that green frogs and ham or green? No.
It might be.
Sorry, Miguel.
No.
All right. Did anybody take something away from today that you're going to go implement right away? I see some head nodding. All right. Speak up.
I'm gonna really try really hard to be more focused. Okay.
That's good.
So, and try using some different language, right? I will.
Try.
Kristen's my friend, so I could play this game with her, right? I will.
I will try. I will do my Yoda. There is no try.
We're not gonna give you permission to fail. You will. There's no try.
There is no try. Well, if my clients would respond a little bit quicker, a little bit more on my timing, then things would be a little bit better. Like my perfect clients, the Stetzels.
No, you've had to chase us before.
Maybe once. Maybe once.
All right. Anybody else? Andrew, I saw your hand up. Something you're going to implement from our discussion today?
Yep, I've got ETF in my block scheduling in the morning. So eat that frog time in the morning, ETF.
ETF, not ATF, Kristen. Good. I love it. Anybody else?
Just real quick, we all human beings, we're not perfect. We have to enjoy what we do, be happy, find that balance. But like you said, you do small incremental changes to time and try it, you're going to see results. You're going to start seeing the results. And, nobody has to be 100% perfect. We do our best as human beings, and we all business owners, and we enjoy what we do. But it's, just don't stress out. Things will happen if we do incremental changes.
Yeah, Camila, thank you for sharing that. So Camila shared a video about starting with creative tasks. And it really is about what gets you motivated, right? If it works for you, then use it and continue to use it and create a habit out of it. Camila, I love that.
I see this video. I test start my day with a task very creative. For example, I planner my posts for social media. And in this case, I feel more motivated for, oh my God, I will do the hard work. And okay, I feel, okay, I finished this and then I have energy for two other things more hard maybe, but I feel more motivated.
Yeah, that's awesome. I
Yeah.
love that.
I like Cortland's message as well, Tricia, where, organizing all the calendars. You're right, Cortland. I fought that in the corporate world for a long time. And finally, I live by literally, I got multiple feeds to it, but one calendar personally and professionally. If it's on my calendar, it happens. If it's not on that calendar, I'm probably going to miss it. So you're right. You're dead on. I fought that for a long time. I'm getting better at it. I'm not perfect, but I'm getting there.
Yeah, I agree, Troy. All of my calendars go to one tool and all of my email goes to one tool so that I can manage it. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's hard when you have 5 inboxes.
Exactly. Cortland has 10, with that many emails.
I get
Up to
it.
12 now.
Oh my gosh, crazy. Well, I would, if it's okay, Miguel, I'm going to share about the way of the productivity ninja. Kristen, I saw you put that in the chat window. It is, y'all, this is going to be a really, really great event. The Texas Leadership Network, which is who puts this mastermind presentation on, we've actually gone out and contracted a guy, the productivity ninja, to come in and talk to us about how to get more done in the only amount of time that we have, right? We can't get any more hours in the day. It's really about doing more with the time that we have in front of us. And Matthew Brown is a hilarious guy. He's actually in the UK, and he's going to come present to us next Wednesday. We've fronted the costs, so all of our contacts, like you guys, and even people that are welcome to come join us for free. We're running it from 9:30 to 11 next Wednesday, and that is Central Time. So you're all welcome to come. There's a QR code there on the screen. You can shoot a picture of it with your phone, and my mouse is not working. That'll make me really not productive today. I'm going to put the link in the chat window for those of you who don't do
I just put it in
QR
again.
codes.
I just put it in again, Trisha.
Oh, you're fantastic. Thank you. I appreciate you. I'm fumbling over here with my finger trying to get my mouse stopped working. All right. So we would love for you guys to join us. We're really excited about bringing Matthew in to teach us a few new tricks about being productive and how to manage our time better. Does anybody have any parting words? Miguel, do you have anything in closing?
Just thank everybody for attending today. I recommend you guys to attend this webinar. Like I said, there's a lot of information on his website, and it should be fun as well. You learn something new, but it's gonna be fun. And then thank you everybody for attending today. Have a magnificent day.
Miguel, thank you so much for presenting our topic today. You guys have an amazing afternoon. You get 4 minutes between meetings. You're welcome.
4 more minutes for lunch.
4 more minutes for lunch. You guys have an amazing afternoon. We'll see you next month.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Great
Bye,
job,
guys.
Miguel. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Cortland, killing me.
Oh, okay. I'm really dying with my mouse over here. Have a great day, Cortland.